Here's your pitch adjuster. To turn that on, first of all, you've got to hit this button right here. You got to hold it down just like the beats per minute one. And then the feature will turn on, and then it'll show your pitch. Right now it's at 0, 0. Down here, you can change between 8%, 16, and 24. I only use 8%. I'm not really sure why you'd go this far. 24 sometimes I'll use if I'm mixing a song, and beats per minutes are way different. Let's say you're going from 130 down to like 100. Then I'll just, at the end of the song, I'll just slide the pitch all the way down so it sounds like this track is slowing down, and then I'll just start the next one. But otherwise, I think it just distorts the music way too much to see anything practical besides 8%. And then, of course, here's your pitch slider. You can go down, it shows you percent, then it goes all the way up. What's nice is also, if you've got the BPM on, it will adjust for the beats per minute. So it'll show you on the readout, as the beats per minute change, the percentage of pitch change as well, which is really convenient. It makes mixing so easy. It's just really convenient part of this system that I love. Here are your pitch bend buttons. If the track is off just by half a beat or so, you can just hit this button down or up, and it'll just temporarily change the pitch to try to match up with the other track. I don't use that very often. I'll just use the jog wheel if I want to do that. Alright, here's the jog wheel. It's made out of a rubberish material that really feels good. It's easy to mix. I think it's pretty accurate. It seems like it responds pretty well to the music you're playing, depending on what feature you have. And the standard mode that it's in is just pitch bend, and it'll temporarily adjust the pitch to the song that's playing. So the song playing, and then if you're just spin it, it'll bring the pitch up or down. It works pretty well. It's great for beat matching, and once you get used to it, it works really well. You've got different mode too over here. You can also change from jog mode over to search mode when you hit this top button. And what that does is, when you're playing the track, if you want to jump to part of the song,
but I ain't come here to clock it back to feel good.
As you can see, I'm just switching through parts of the track. That comes in handy also all the time. I'll switch to that too if I need to skip an intro or something. It's a pretty standard feature. And then you've also got a scratch feature when you hit this bottom button, and that the LED will blink then, letting you know that it's in the scratch feature. And even though this feature is kind of cool, it's not really that practical, because it doesn't start right away and it doesn't stop right away. It's not as fast as a vinyl record or something would be. There's a little bit of a pause from when you start moving the jog wheel and when you stop from the track playing at its normal speed. What I do like that feature for is if you're playing a different track, you can scratch in the background as a nice effect. Or if you're just going to mix a song without beat matching at the end, you can just give it one final spin and then fade over to the next song, like something like that. That wasn't a good example, but you get the idea. Alright, all of these buttons, they have kind of a rubbery feel to them, and they have a tactile click every time you click them. And they work pretty well. They do feel pretty good, but I've seen better buttons on different systems, but they'll work fine for sure. Now the pause and cue button are a little bit different than the other ones. They're more of a plastic, and they've got a lighted ring around them. They're very lightweight also. The start is very clean and fast as well. As soon as you hit the button, it will start. And cue brings it back to the beginning. Also, you can just hold down the cue button and it'll play until you let go. Kind of a nice feature itself. Alright, I have a different song queued up now. And one thing that I do not like about the cue feature on this is sometimes it doesn't start on the first beat of the song, which is really annoying. Every time you start the song, the first time you cue it up, it will play just fine, but then if you were to cue back to the beginning, then it might skip the first beat. And it doesn't happen for every song, but occasionally it will. Here's an example. I've just queued up the song for the first time, so it'll start right on the first beat. It sounds fine. Then I hit the cue button, and it should bring me right back to the beginning of the song. However, when I hit play, it skips the first beat. I don't know, it brings the song off by about half a second or so. You hear that? It's kind of like a high-pitched squeak almost at the beginning also. Instead of that first kick drum, it's something else. To get rid of this, what you do is you can just go back and cue the same song up again, and the very first time you cue it up, it will start just fine. See, sounded good that time. And you hit cue, and it's all fucked up again. I don't know what the deal is. What I do is I just double tap on the scroll wheel, and it brings you back to the first time you cue the song, and then you can play, and it's not messed up. I'm not really sure why this happens, if it was some sort of botched feature that Gemini tried to put in. I don't like it, but it's really not a deal breaker because you can hear about it, you can hear it in your headphones, and you can adjust for it before you play. But if you forget about that, and it's on the second cue or later, and you try to match it up with the next song, timing is everything when you're DJing, and it could throw it off by half a beat, and it could really sound terrible. Then you've got to pitch adjust and stuff. It's kind of a hassle. Not really sure why it does that, but it does. Okay, in the middle here is your mixer. You've got your crossfader down in the bottom, and then your volume controls in the middle here, and then a VU display, which I think is pretty much useless, but it looks nice at least when you're playing the song. The light will turn on if you have the volume all the way up. It doesn't really tell you much information. I don't really see what the point is. It's not very accurate, and if you've got, I don't know if you got more bass, then it'll turn up, but it looks cool, I suppose. Use your cue selector switch. This one is depending on what you want to play through your headphones, basically. If you want to play on side 1, you have it over here, side 2 over there, and that's what's going to be playing through your headphones. Or the master output on your headphones, at least. These switches over here dictate the line that you're going to be playing. Right now, here's the default over at CD1, which means just CD or the USB as well. Then if you bring it over to line 1 or phone 1, then it'll be playing any input that you have on the back. If you've got it plugged in the back of one of these line inputs, then it'll be playing that instead. Something to know, these are very tactile switches. They feel pretty good. It's very obvious what position they're in, and I haven't had any problems with them. Alright, here's your EQ and other functions up here. They've got an equalizer for each side. You've got your high, mid, low, and gain control, mic volume, master volume, your cue volume, depending on which side. If it's all the way down, then all you hear through your headphones is the side that is queued up. If you have it in the middle, then you'll hear both sides equally, and if you have it all the other side, then you hear the other. You don't hear your cue in the headphones. That's useful if you just want to hear this in your headphones and you want to hear mixed together. You turn it up a little bit and that kind of thing. And here's your cue volume, basically your headphone volume. And then the other side is the same as the first side. All of the equalizer knobs function the same way. There's a little bit of a notch in the middle, so it tells you exactly where the standard set point is, and it'll automatically stop kind of right in the middle, which is nice. Otherwise you can bring it all to the end, which is fine. Your volume controls don't have any set notch because it really depends on where you want it to be yourself. Same with gain control and that kind of thing. There's not a set notch that says that it dictates that it's right in the middle or the standard position. All these knobs, they work well. I haven't had any problems with them. The only thing is that they're not completely centered. Right now, that is supposedly the exact center, but you know, they installed them a little bit off, so it's like a millimeter to the left, which isn't really a big deal. It's the same with the mid. Same with all of them, actually. But just a minor attention to detail. I'm sure you'd see something fixed like that on a higher end system, but it's a pretty minor complaint. Although this system doesn't have any built-in effects, you can use the equalizer for your own kind of effects. It's nice that they offer a high and a mid instead of just a high and a low. So that way you can get some effects like turn the high all the way up, mid all the way down, or vice versa. It gives you kind of a cool effect. Or of course just turn them all the way down, maybe the bass up, and now you feel like you're underwater. I don't know. They all work well. The display works very well. It's easy to read, and it lights up pretty bright when you're even in pitch dark conditions. You've been seeing it through most of the video, so you know pretty much all the symbols and things that come up, how that works. I think it's great. I don't have any complaints about it. And yeah, that's about it. I would say the overall build and quality of this system is better than average. It's good. It feels like a very solid system. It's made out of metal and high quality plastic and rubberized parts. There are these metal ears on the side, so if you wanted to permanently attach it to some sort of podium, you've got that option. Otherwise, this whole plate is metal. I think up here is more of a plastic, but it feels like a solid system. I wouldn't drop it or anything, but it doesn't feel doesn't feel like a really cheap piece of electronics. Some features that I'd like to see in this system are possibly fader start. Once you bring it all to one side, if it were to start, that'd be really useful sometimes, I think, instead of having to juggle your hands with the volume control and the play button and stuff. If there was just a fader start, that would help me out. I'd also like to see some effects, but of course this is a reasonable price range, and you can't get everything for nothing, so if you want those special effects built in right to your dual CD player without using a computer or something, you're going to need to go for a higher end system. And right now I believe this is Gemini's highest end dual CD player, MP3 player. It has the most features that Gemini puts out in this type of a system, in a dual CD player mixer all-in-one system. If you're using this for parties or special events like that, I guess you could even do some mobile DJing with it. You're not going to impress anybody with some mad DJ skills, but you'll be able to mix no problem different tracks together, and you can even add in a few effects. Nothing too crazy, but I don't think anybody's going to buy this expecting to wow the crowd with their beat juggling skills. It really is just made for mixing songs together, maybe a few effects, and it does that very well. And the fact that you can use the thumb drives instead of CDs allows the DJ a lot more time to interact with people around him, or just see how the crowd's doing, or even focus more on beat matching instead of switching out CDs and finding different CDs, because the folder search is really effective. Overall, I do recommend this system to anybody who's looking for a intro level dual CD player, MP3 player, and doesn't want to spend a lot of money, but also doesn't want to get something with bare bone features. I think this has the number of features that it comes with is quite substantial compared to what else is on the market, and some of the things, such as the scratch feature, even though it's not awesome, it's difficult to find for this price range, which usually you can find for about $400 or so online. Cheaper if you know where to go. It's a good system. I haven't had any problems with it over the past 3 months. You've got the warranty if there are any problems. And that's about it. If you have any questions, ask me for sure. I'm sure I forgot a lot of things. If I did, I will answer any questions about them. Alright, thanks for your time. Signing off.